Hello everyone, my name is Amit Sharma. Today I'm talking about NestJS application project structure, which we have created in a previous tutorial. So if you have not watched the previous tutorial, then I would say that you check the previous video and then to continue the next one. So because this is the continue of the previous video, so today we will talk about the project structure of the application. So just jump into the code. So this is the application, NestJS application, which we have created in the previous project. So the first folder is a this folder, and this folder is basically generated when we type this command, when we run this command npm run start dep. So when we run this command, then this folder will be created because it is basically running development server, and all the necessary files are copied over here and will pointed over here then. So the next folder is a node underscore module having all the dependencies which we are using in this application. So all core files or core dependencies are managed by this folder, and this all dependencies are managed by the package.json files. If you see that this is all dependencies and other kind of dependencies are managed by this file. So the next folder is the source folder. I'll just talk about in a minute. The next folder is a test folder, and test folder is basically for writing end-to-end test cases. For if you want to write end-to-end test cases, so this is the boilerplate code will be showing over here. So if you want to write an end-to-end testing case for this application, then this is the configuration which is used by the internally NestJS framework. So ESLint.js file, this file is basically for this file this is an excellent tool which basically for identifying and reporting on pattern from ECMAScript or JavaScript code, with the goal of making code more consistent and avoiding bugs. So this tool will basically help us to consistent your coding conventions and or kind of TSLins also enforce you to make your code clean and consistent, and it also help us to find out the classes of bugs related to the scope identity, scope variables, or basically global variables which will leak uh, and it is very difficult to find the errors. So the another example is an undeclared variable which is of assignment, and the another example is one more example is undefined variable is example of the errors, and that is all these things will be detected by the TSLint servers, and it will help us to clean our code, or the style of uh, coding. So the next one is the gitignore file. The gitignore file is basically the repository git files, which those files which you do not want to push on the git repository because it is not relevant. For example, this folder, when we compile our application, then all the same file will be copied over here. The node.js file is all the managed dependencies are copied over here. There is no need to push this all dependency into the the repository, because it will be when you install npm, when you run the npm install, then it will go the package.json file, and all the dependencies in version, a specific version, they will install automatically. So all the logs and test coverage and VS Code configurations files I do not want to push in the repository. So that is all about for get ignored. So prettier, this file is basically for your for the code formatting, like if you're having space and extra spaces, extra lines, when you save this file, and then it will automatically format your code, which will help us to make our code more clean and readable. So next, CLI.json file is the command line tool configuration file, which is Node.js framework will be internally used on that file. Package.json, as I told you, that this is all the dependencies will be managed by the NestJS application for this application. And also we are having, if you see that we are having the application dependencies, or the dev dependencies are here. I mentioned over here that is managed by this, and some of the scripts is also mentioned over here. The build and the start dev, debugging, product, or if you want to run the test cases, then test scripts or test watch. If you want to change something in a test file, then it will automatically watch and all that. So so this is all about the test line. So the ts configuration build.json or tsconfig file. So these two files are basically for the TypeScript compilations configuration, which is NestJS framework will internally use that files. So now come to the source folder and app.controller.spec.ts. It is basically for the writing unit test cases. For this, as of now, I'm leaving it because I'm not going to write any test cases for this. So the controller, so before the controller, I'll just check the main.ts file. This is the entry file of the NestJS application. So if you see the bootstrap function, which is asynchronous function, so which will basically help us to create the NestJS application instance. So we are using the NestJS factory core class, which is having some set of static methods like create, and we are passing the app module, and app module is another class which we will see in just a minute. And is this NestJS create an instance of the NestJS application, and this application will be listening on the 3000 port. So it is, if you're aware about the Express framework, so internally, as I said, the NestJS framework we internally used Express framework. So you can also the same way use Express. From so constant app equal to an app dot listen 3000. So this is the same way we have used in the Express framework. So this is basically internally wrap in NestJS framework. So that's as I said earlier, that NestJS framework internally use the Express framework. So this is internally wrapped. So it create an instance and listen in this. So after that listening, then so we have next is app.module. This is very important file for this. If you see that we are having 3 sections on this files: imports, controllers, and providers. So when we run this app module, and the app module will check this what are the controllers we are configured over here, and app services, or if you have any external module, then we have to, or your user defined modules, we need to configure in the imports section. So here and then the module will be coming from the common NestJS library here. So if you see the controller, and the controller is nothing as is basically responsible for getting the incoming request and doing something, and return back to the return back to the client. So if you see in the controller, there is an app service object we have injected, and it is calling the another function, hello world, get hello function, and the app service is injected. That app service is another class where we will just see in the second. So this is a controller, and we are controller, we are decorated with the controller attribute, and the get hello function, we also attribute the get. So when we call this function, local http slash local host 3000 port slash this, when we hit this URL, then automatically it will call the get hello function. So um, we have another we have a get post, we have put, so all the variables we have, all the verbs we have over here, then according to that we can create our functions for this. So if you check in the service is nothing, is just is extra of class or service, which will in as basically fetching the data from this database, and getting the information from database and send back to the controller, and the controller will do something and send back to the client. So this is the service, which because it will be injected some other controllers or controllers, or this is a usable service, so we have marked as a injectable decorator. So injectable is coming from the common NestJS library, because this class can be used in other controller as well. If you see the controller file, we have injected the app service class. So the app service class we have injected, and we can use this service object instance and get the hello world, and then it will call the hello world function and will return this information. So the question is over here that who will create the instance of this, and who will call this, who will create the instance of the app controller. So it is basically, if you see the model app.model.ts file, so here we have configure the app service and the app controller. So the NestJS framework internally call the app, create the instance of the app controller. When we call the app controller class, then it will come over here, and then in the constructor you will see there is a dependency of the app service, and the app service the app mod NestJS will check in the module app module. There's we have also registered the app service. So this create the instance of this app service object automatically, and it will be assign over here, and then we can call we use this service instance and get the hello world. And so this is if you see, because if you see, this is the modularity we have achieved over here, that the controller is very clean over here. This the single responsibility of the controller, and the service have their own responsibility, fetching and connecting the database, and everything is that and controller is doing something and send back to the client. So this is complete the modularity of this way you can achieve it. So this is the all file and folder structure of the NestJS application which we have created. So in the next video I will talk about more controllers and routings. So thank you very much. If you like this video, please subscribe, like and comment.